Chapter 1. Locked In. The heavy clang of the steel doors reverberated through the dimly lit halls of the maximum security prison, marking the beginning of a new and harrowing reality. Each inmate, lost in their thoughts, reflects on the day they were locked away from the world. Marcus Kane, the philosopher, wrestles with his shattered dreams of academia, questioning the morality of his crime. Lila Moreno, the artist, recalls the last bits of freedom she felt before the bars closed in. Her heart aches for lost moments of self-expression. Eddie Thompson thinks of his old gang, grappling with his desperate need to protect those he once might have exploited. Meanwhile, Naomi Fields, the rebel, feels the fire of injustice burning within her. James Ellis quietly contemplates his past, seeking solace in faith amidst the chaos. Each entry reveals a glimpse of their complex lives, setting the stage for resilience born from confinement. Chapter 2. The Weight of Words. In the austere confines of his cell, Marcus the philosopher Kane reflects on the nature of justice as he grapples with his past. His diary entries are a sanctuary where he wrestles with profound questions. What is right? What is true? Through the lens of his crime of passion, Marcus explores the paradox of human existence, often finding solace in the written word. He records his thoughts on morality, likening his fellow inmates to Socratic wrestlers in the arena of ideas. Yet the stark reality of the prison walls often clashes with his lofty ideals. The echoes of metal clanging and distant shouting serve as reminders of the world's harshness, seeped into his reflections. In clandestine debates with others in the library, now a makeshift classroom, he discovers that wisdom can bloom even in the darkest places. Hope, he notes, is a philosophical pursuit, often weighed down by the gravity of their shared fate. Chapter 3. Art as Resistance. Lila Moreno sits in her dimly lit cell, surrounded by scraps of paper, stolen moments of freedom captured in ink and color. As she dips her brush into vibrant hues, she remembers the world outside, its chaos and beauty. Her diary entries reveal the cathartic power of art, a rebellion against the oppressiveness of the prison environment. Each stroke embodies her internal struggle, transforming pain into portraits of hope and resilience. Through her words, Lila expresses the transformative nature of creativity, describing how art becomes her voice in a place designed to silence. Her sketches tell stories of longing, love, and loss, serving as a lifeline to her identity. The vivid imagery spills into her writing, illustrating the sanctuary she creates within her cell. It's in these moments that Lila learns to embrace her scars, turning them into powerful narratives of survival and self-acceptance, defiantly asserting her existence behind the bars. Chapter 4. Guardian of the Vulnerable. In the clanging heart of the prison, Eddie Thompson reflects on the shadows that have cloaked his past. Once feared as a gang member, he now dedicates his life to protecting those most vulnerable behind bars. His diary entries are laced with tales of brave confrontations, where he stands against the tide of violence that racks the prison. He recalls a moment when he intervened during a brutal altercation, risking his own safety to shield a frail inmate from harm. Every act of bravery he undertakes strengthens newfound bonds. Friendships forged in the fires of struggle give him purpose. In a world that often seems devoid of compassion, Eddie's resilience shines as a beacon of hope. Through his reflections, he reveals that loyalty can evolve, transforming from the rigid codes of gang life into a profound commitment toward building a safer community where everyone deserves protection and respect. Chapter 5. Fighting from Within. In the dim confines of her cell, Naomi Fields pours her heart onto the pages of her diary, each word a battle cry against an oppressive system. She writes passionately about prison conditions, the lack of mental health resources, and the urgent need for reform. Her entries capture the raw emotions she witnesses daily, the despair etched on faces, the silent suffering of fellow inmates who feel invisible. Naomi organizes meetings, her voice rising above the din of despair, rallying her peers to advocate for their rights. She shares stories of resilience, planting seeds of hope within hardened hearts. Through her efforts, a small campaign for better mental health support begins to take shape. The camaraderie she fosters transforms her cell into a sanctuary of change, igniting a spirit of defiance. Each entry reflects not just her fight, but the relentless pursuit of justice, reminding others that even in darkness, voices can unite and demand change. Chapter 6. Reflections on Redemption. As I sit on the cold, hard bench of my cell, I can feel the weight of my past pressing down on me. My name is James Ellis, and my journey here has been one of pain, reflection, and ultimately hope. Once a feared gang leader, I now embrace a path of spiritual awakening. In my diary, I recount the moment I chose to turn away from violence, the day I realized my actions had consequences beyond myself. Faith has become my refuge, guiding me through the darkest nights. I hold group sessions in the rec yard, sharing stories of forgiveness and healing. My voice, once filled with bravado, now carries messages of understanding and compassion. Redemption isn't just about seeking forgiveness, it's about forgiving oneself. Every journal entry brings me closer to self-acceptance, revealing that even in a place like this, transformation is possible, if only we dare to seek it. Chapter 7. Hope in the Darkness. The heavy clanking of steel echoed through the dimly lit corridors as each inmate confronted their darkest moments. Marcus began, reflecting on the despair that accompanied his crime, his words steeped in regret, yet interspersed with glimpses of hope. Lila, clutching her sketch pad, penned her feelings of loneliness, yet painted vibrant scenes in her mind, envisioning brighter days as an escape. Eddie detailed the nights he spent worried about the safety of his friends, highlighting the thin line between protection and vulnerability. Naomi's voice rang with defiance as she described the oppressive atmosphere, yet she encouraged her peers to unite and fight for their rights. Lastly, James shared the transformative power of faith, how it became a beacon in his darkest hours. Together, they acknowledged the weight of despair, but also the flicker of hope that sustained them. A fragile light illuminating their paths through the shadows of confinement. Chapter 8. Connections Forged in Struggle. The monotonous clang of metal echoed through the cell block, yet within this harsh environment, friendships blossomed into lifelines. Marcus, Lila, Eddie, Naomi, and James often huddled in the cramped library, narrating tales from their pasts, their laughter slicing through the oppressive air like rays of sunlight. Eddie shared how he'd once stood alone, but now vulnerability was a strength among his peers. Lila painted vivid images in their minds with her words, transforming mundane conversations into a tapestry of dreams. Marcus wielded philosophy like a sword, offering insights that deepened their bonds, while Naomi's fierce spirit ignited a shared determination to uplift one another. In these moments of solidarity, they found unity amid chaos. The brutal prison life became a backdrop for resilience. Together, they sculpted a community rooted in empathy and understanding, proving that even within the darkest confines, humanity could thrive. Chapter 9. Loss and Longing. The weight of loss hangs heavily in the air as each inmate pours out their heart in their diaries. Marcus reflects on the life he once had, the lectures, the dreams, the love he lost due to a moment's recklessness. Lila's art serves as a poignant reminder of the family gatherings and celebrations that feel a world away. She sketches vibrant memories, filling the void with colors of nostalgia. Eddie longs for the brotherhood he abandoned, feeling the ache of loyalty and responsibility for those he left behind. Naomi writes about her estranged father, wishing he could see her fighting for justice rather than locked away. Meanwhile, James contemplates the friends taken by violence, their absence fueling his desire to mentor others. Each entry resonates with a universal truth. Loss is a cruel reality, yet it binds them together in their shared yearning for connection and a chance to reclaim what was lost. Chapter 10. Moments of Conflict. The air was thick with tension in the prison yard, where rival factions faced off, igniting a fiery confrontation that echoed through the concrete walls. Eddie Thompson's heart raced as he scanned the scene, knowing that the safety of vulnerable inmates was at stake. Meanwhile, Marcus Kane wrestled with his philosophical ideals of peace, grappling with the moral implications of inaction. Lila Moreno clutched her sketchbook, seeking solace in her art as Naomi Fields shouted for calm, her voice a fierce rallying cry for understanding. James Ellis stood grounded, recalling the violence of his past, filled with the urgency to mediate. As fists flew and voices escalated, each inmate confronted their fears, choices made in the crucible of chaos. In the maelstrom, they learned that conflict breeds self-reflection, pushing them closer to grasp the profound truth of their intertwined fates. Only by facing their inner demons could they hope to emerge stronger and more connected. Chapter 11. Threads of Courage. In the dim light of the communal area, the sound of laughter and camaraderie filled the air, a brief respite from the overarching gloom of prison life. Each inmate, in their own way, began to confront their fears, revealing the courage buried beneath their circumstances. Naomi, emboldened by her activism, organized a small gathering to discuss prisoner rights, a bold move that sparked conversations and ignited hope. Eddie, witnessing a potential fight between rival factions, stepped in as a mediator, his heart racing, but his resolve firmer than ever. His upbringing had taught him to fight, but now he found strength in understanding. Meanwhile, Lila shared her artwork, depicting scenes of freedom and resilience, inspiring others to express their emotions creatively. Amidst shared stories and laughter, the threads of unity wove tighter, reminding them all that even in confinement, courage can flourish in the most unlikely of places, forging an unbreakable bond among them. Chapter 12. Breaking Chains. In this chapter, the inmates reflect on their journey of personal breakthroughs, each discovering new facets of their identities within the prison walls. Marcus finds renewed purpose in his role as a philosophy teacher, transforming the prison library into a beacon of intellectual engagement. His diary entry captures the exhilaration of igniting curiosity in others as fellow inmates challenge each other's perspectives, fostering an unexpected camaraderie through discussion. Lila organizes her first art showcase, an empowering event that invites fellow inmates to share their artwork. She writes about the vibrant colors that now escape the confines of her cell, symbolizing her journey toward self-acceptance. Meanwhile, James leads a spiritual session focused on healing, encouraging inmates to confront their pasts collectively as they release burdens that have long defined them. As their stories intertwine, a palpable sense of hope emerges, illustrating the transformative power of community and self-discovery, breaking their chains of despair. Chapter 13. The Power of Forgiveness. In the dim light of their shared struggles, the weight of unforgiven pasts looms large over each inmate's heart. Marcus reflects on the violent night that changed his life, struggling to forgive himself for his actions. His diary echoes with the haunting memories of lost friendships, a reminder that true freedom begins within. Lila pours her emotions onto the page, confronting the pain of betrayal by those she once trusted, seeking solace in the belief that forgiveness is the path to liberation. Eddie grapples with his protective instincts, yearning to forgive those who hurt him and his community. Naomi advocates for institutional change but recognizes the importance of forgiving the system that has wronged so many. Meanwhile, James shares stories of reconciliations with estranged family members, illuminating the healing power of forgiveness. As each inmate navigates their journey, they discover that forgiveness, both of others and themselves, is the key to transformation and peace.